Go back to the live picture. Our producer in the booth is telling us there's
we can take a look
more
at it
going
again.
on out there. We understand they're about to deploy tear gas, and our crews there are seeing law enforcement moving. You can hear people coughing.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And Chris, how difficult for these officers, and I've talked to a few of them today, you've mentioned them being able to show that restraint. That's hard to do in these situations.
Yeah, you see people getting right up in their faces, deliberately antagonizing, throwing things at them and that sort of thing. Think about if they make an arrest, it takes 3 or 4 officers offline. They did 40 arrests yesterday. That takes 120 officers offline to make these arrests at different times. But it's a very difficult situation for them. That's why they couldn't protect property last night. Their priority was arresting people and preventing violence. They'd already had a very violent shooting.
Yep.
The person is now deceased. And so they had their first and foremost priority was to protect people last night.
You can hear our reporter Amy Cowman coughing there in the background. And again, this tear gas, Amy was exposed to a lot of that last night. We saw people last night being carried out from the area after that exposure to tear gas with breathing problems. We saw people assaulted last night. Chris mentioned the shooting, now fatal shooting that happened near the Omni Hotel last night. Fortunately, tonight we have not seen that, but we have seen this turn. This turn from protest to something else.
We are now an hour and 20 minutes away from midnight when the curfew will go into effect. What sort of change in tone will we see when the clock strikes midnight from law enforcement?
You will see announcements, and that's when I think you'll really see the National Guard come out, because I think that there will be some dispersal, but I think these roving cells, these small groups will be dispersing throughout the city. And I'm not sure how they're going to deal with that. I think the National Guard and others, Highway Patrol, other resources will be guarding buildings much more effectively than last night. But I think they've got a real issue in terms of these roving little bands, if you will. Who knows where they're going to end up next? They may be on I-85, they might be on I-77, they might be in South Charlotte, or the southern part of the grid, the downtown grid. You just don't know where they're going.
Let's check back in with Amy Cowman again on the scene. Amy, how are you at this point? Are you able to breathe?
Hey there. I'm just catching my breath here. Darnell and I both are. It escalated so quickly. We were just marching peacefully, came up onto the highway on 277, where everyone started coming on the highway. And I don't know if you can see now, but we are a good ways back now. The police line just came out. They formed a line there and just escalated so fast. It was not like last night where they came out and there was some time frame in between. They came out, they started meeting their guards as they do to alert people they're going to start moving forward. They started moving forward, and then before we knew it, tear bombs, gas, I'm sorry, I know I'm not saying it right, the gas pellets, whatever, were thrown out, and we were right in the middle of it. And this was the first time we really had to run and get out of the way. There's a big hill here because we're literally standing on a ramp that goes on to 277 here, while the police are still lined up in the middle of the highway. Darnell, you want to show them? There, the police line is still all the way across 277. You can see the crowds up on the hill here over the bridge. This is where everyone was running excuse me, as they threw the tear gas and as we had to get out of the way. So this just escalated really quickly, really fast from what I would have called a pretty peaceful march and protest for the majority of the night. And now there's the standoff on 277. And once again, we are standing back again because we got right up there in the middle of it, and without even realizing it, it escalated, and we both got
And Amy, we can see the civil emergency unit from CMPD lined up. Are you seeing any other law enforcement agencies? Are you seeing State Highway Patrol? Are you seeing National Guard at this point?
I'm sorry, Morgan. I did not hear what you just asked me. Can you repeat that again?
Sure. We can see the civil emergency unit. Do you see State Highway Patrol or National Guard or any other law enforcement agencies?
You know, as we've been marching through Uptown, we have seen a lot of the National Guard stationed at different posts throughout. But right now, in this current situation, I'm seeing CMPD, their lights on the other side of the highway, and then I'm seeing the civil emergency, the police civil emergency unit looking across. Darnell, that is CMPD, correct? That is not State Highway Patrol. Yeah, I believe that right now we are just seeing CMPD and the civil unit. Oh, you can see see over on the other side of the bridge here now, it looks like police are pushing the protesters up the side, or I should say they're moving the line, and the protesters are moving up. But right now we just see a bunch. I just heard another pellet go off. We just see a bunch of the civil police. So this is what's bizarre, is that they're standing in the middle of the highway and the crowds are all gathered around now. Nobody's chanting, rioting, or protesting. It's just people standing around. What was a civil march through Uptown is now stopped, and everyone's dispersed around 277 and the hills that go up around the bridge there. And I'm not really sure what everyone's going to do right now, quite honestly. So we're just standing back.